me, as a restaurant manager, the restaurant where I was, it was forced to close down. I was no longer required. I bought the house where we live now. It was uncertainty. The immediate thought is like, what am I gonna do? Like, I have my responsibilities. I gotta make these payments. I knew that some way, somehow, I was going to make it happen. And it was just 2020 happening and shaking the world and putting me on this situation where now I got offered a nutrition club, and part of owning the nutrition club, it was taking on physical activity because we want to help our clients or preferred members to get results. Nancy, my wife, it's, as I said, she's a leader, and during the pandemic,
This next guest that I have is a guest I've always looked up to, a guest that I've seen as an individual who has been very inspirational to this community, an individual who is always active, very energetic, a very aspiring individual. And so I want to introduce you guys to Julio Ruiz, owner of Liv Athletics. Julio, if I can start off with asking you one question, is a lot of the times people don't see the true person behind social media or through events or things like that, right? They only get to see a glimpse of you. My first question to you would be, if you were to paint a picture of who Julio is and where Julio came from as far as their background, things like that, what would you portray yourself as you?
Alrighty. Great question. And also, thank you very much for the introduction. I didn't know that you felt that way, and I'm glad it's like positive, because that's what I'm always shooting for, to motivate and inspire people. About myself, I am probably from La Frontera, because I was born in Ciudad Juarez. I was born in El Paso, raised in Ciudad Juarez. Then eventually I grew up. I lived a few years in Santa Teresa, New Mexico. So I took advantage of the 3 states. And I think a lot of people, even though we live here, a lot of people do not experience Juarez, El Paso, Las Cruces, New Mexico. So I am first generation American, and that is like my background from where I'm from.
The business you've started, I see you motivate a lot of individuals. You've motivated a lot of people to go work out. You've motivated me to honestly go work out and stuff like that from the content you post on social media. I'm going to the gym and I always see your content. You guys always being active and stuff like that. What really got you into building, I would say, an empire of fitness that you built in our community? Were you always somebody that wanted to do that? Were you always somebody that wanted to pursue an entrepreneurial route? What motivated you to get to where you're at right now?
No, honestly, it's thank you. I like the way you put it, an empire. It's a big word. And I like to see it as a legacy more than anything. But I like that word as well. And I never thought this was something that I will be doing in my life at this moment in time. I always strive to do my best on whatever I was doing. But it's also a matter of circumstances and a little bit of luck. And the reason why I say luck is because luck is the definition of luck is being prepared, meeting up with opportunity. And it was just 2020 happening and shaking the world and putting me on this situation where now I got offered a nutrition club, and part of owning the nutrition club, it was taking on physical activity because we want to help our clients or preferred members to get results. And in order to be more efficient, being active is part of it. I always practice sports. I hold the position of a leader in my career, which was hospitality, a restaurant manager, and therefore everything that I learned in the past, like it was like right at the moment, and it came to me, and I took the ball and ran.
You've mentioned the pandemic. You've mentioned luck. and you've mentioned helping people live a healthier lifestyle. Why did you want to do those things? And I like bringing back the pandemic mostly because, that was a very tough moment for people to even work out. I mean, even to get a haircut, it was very difficult. So it was a very tough moment. Is that when you started your business? That when you started everything? And why did you do it? What was the main purpose of why?
Yes, 2020 was like it shook the world. And for me, as a restaurant manager, the restaurant where I was, it was forced to close down. And the management team of 6 managers was needed to be broke down to 3 managers. So I was no longer required. I had bought the house where we live now. And my question was like, okay, what am I going to do that? Well, what am I going to do now? It was uncertainty, but at that moment, my wife, who was it's also a leader, and she was involved into a community of fitness and wellness overall. She got offered the nutrition club where we now operate, and I will just support her and go with her, provide the tips a little bit that I know about running, provide the little bit tips that I know about soccer and different sports like control your breathing, stuff like that. And little by little, I became Coach Julio by providing these tips and the knowledge that I know. Nancy, my wife, it's, as I said, she's a leader. And during the pandemic, she was looking for something to do like with her time. She always needs to be doing something. And she was providing classes through Instagram, live classes on Instagram where other girls will plug in at a specific time on Mondays. And she will like do the workout. All the ladies will do it with her. And that's how little by little we started Liv Athletics. As the city was opening up and we were able to go out, we were able to go back to parks. We took the run club that we were already doing, just meeting on Saturdays. And it was little by little more consistency, more distance, improving. And the participants were like, you know what? I want to go for more. I want to go for 4 miles. I want to go for 8. I want to go for... Eventually, we were like, hey, the Michelob Ultra Marathon is coming up. Might as well sign up as a team and let's go and try our best. And that's how Liv Athletics happened. But it was definitely the 2020 because we also noticed the necessity of our city. We became an epicenter for the pandemic. And marketing, you identify a need and you fulfill that need. At that moment, a lot of time to think and realizing that my people from El Paso, needed to build a healthy life, to live a healthy and active lifestyle. So that's something that we can support for the city. We also noticed that, our culture, we're very, very used to, if we go to our grandma or visit a family member, they receive you and they give you a food. And the plate is big and it's like 5 tortillas. And if you finish, guess what? You're getting another plate. And even though that's the way they show how much they care for their loved ones, sadly, eating too much tortilla and too much bread is not good at all. And we saw it reflected, that's why we were an epicenter. And it's just because it's part of our culture, doesn't make it right. And that's where the challenge comes. But now, thanks to the club and the Liv Athletics, little by little, one person at a time, we started helping them change and build better habits. I think I
really love the way you have it structured. From what I see, it's a community that really not only motivates somebody to go work out or live a healthy lifestyle, but to believe in themselves, to be there for somebody. I see a lot of people in the comment sections are always calling you like, their mother or their father, because you guys care about them so much. I want to take a little bit more of a step back to the point when you were a restaurant manager and you were like, I think that's very important to talk about, and the uncertainty behind that, because I feel like there's a lot of people that go through that, right? They're either at a job they don't like, or, they have, they're looking for a job, but they also have that entrepreneurial spark. Walk us through that moment when you were let go, the uncertainty that you felt, what you really had to do to push yourself, and what you were just thinking about or feeling about in that moment?
Um, the immediate thought is like, what am I gonna do? Like, I have my responsibilities. I gotta make these payments, um, and yeah, you don't know exactly what path to follow or what is it that you can do now. I knew that some way, somehow, I was going to make it happen. And it was because of that community where Nancy got involved that we got offered the opportunity to own a nutritional club, which is called Eastside Nutrition. We always wanted to own a business of our own. And we never like planned it. We never thought like, okay, this is it. And then after we save so much, we're going to do this. As I said, everything like was landing where it had to land. And for us to take the courage of like, okay, this is it. We always wanted a business. We never thought it was going to be related to fitness and nutrition, but I know some stuff, and we both appreciate knowledge and wisdom. So we started like getting educated around what we were doing, and yeah, yes, it's risky, but it was something that needed to be. We enjoy working out, so it sounded like it was fun, it was exciting. So it was like, let's do it. Now I have the time. Now, even though I was let go, more than being let go, it was allowed. I was demoted, so I stay as a server. So that way, I had a little bit of income, better than no income, and then I had the time to dedicate to our new business, and that's how it started.
Going into the venture of starting your first business, kind of not knowing where it's going to go, what were the biggest things that you had to encounter, things that you had to push through as far as being a business owner, starting your first business? What was some of those hard moments that you've encountered growing it?
Some of the hardest moments. That's a good question. And I think here, when I was in the restaurant manager, I was in a position of leadership. I had a role, and new people will come to the restaurant, new employees, and just because I had the title, I was wearing the suit. I will request for them to, hey, would you please help me clean this, and they will do it, right? So because I was in a position, they will follow my lead. The biggest challenge that I have on this new business is to be an effective leader, to motivate people and inspire people to do what we're inviting them to do. Because now I have to create a relationship. I have to get to know the person and know what tickles, what makes them activate. So during the first months, we have a good group, and we were able to inspire them and move them. But along time happens, and whenever there is a big group, there's gonna be things going on, right? And sometimes the situations get out of hand. So my leadership skills have to develop and learn how to motivate, inspire, and lead a group of people, a community, which honestly, there's just a few cases because it's a very healthy community. Our community, it's people that want to better themselves, that are looking for changes, and that like the positive vibe and positive energy that we offer. So it's just click, everything clicks. And my job as a leader is to help them, motivate them, push them, find their motivation, what inspires them, and just show the way, because I like to lead with example. I cannot request of them to do something if I'm not doing it. But yeah, I hope that answers the question.
How it does, and it brought up another very interesting question as far as you're a leader to many. You're everybody looks up to you in the club, in the community, when it comes to being the leader and getting people going and stuff like that. how do you lead yourself? How do you motivate yourself? Even when the times when you have the hardship to motivate yourself, how do you do that for yourself?
Well, motivation comes and goes. So it's not motivation, it's discipline. And my discipline of choice is sports. My discipline of choice, the way I start my day, is through a good hard workout. I really enjoy CrossFit, and that's usually how I start my day, something that pushes me to the limit. After that, there is this saying, or there is actually a book, it's called Eating the Frog, where if you have a task that you're going to tackle during the day, you start with the one that you enjoy the least. So all your energy while you are fresh, you go and give it your best, you finish, and now you go, you check and keep on going and keep on, the compound effect after you tackle your biggest challenge of the day, so to say. Um, my discipline, some behaviors like following a nutrition, waking up early every day at 5 a.m., including Saturday and Sunday. It doesn't matter if we had an event that finished late the night before. It's more than anything discipline, knowing what you want, knowing what your goal is, and be focused towards it. The motivation comes and goes. So, but if you, it's the discipline that I have been able to guide myself to, but also having those goals and having my wife and my family, that is my motivation. And now the Live Athletics community, because I cannot let them down. If I am requesting for them to do good, I cannot give, I'm requesting for them to do better. I cannot do my good. I have to do my greatest. Therefore, my wife, my family, my goals, my community, that's my motivation. Motivation fades, comes and goes, then comes discipline. And for that, we build habits that help us go through and stay disciplined.
You challenge yourself a lot, and I remember when you did the David Goggins challenge. That one was crazy to see you experience. How was that? How was going through that?
No, man.
What's your feel?
That one was all fun. That one was all fun. I enjoy everything. I enjoy the people that did it with me. It was a great experience, and it was a great bonding experience. Trey, one of the members, one of the people that did it, I met him the week before, and I invited him, and he took the challenge. And after those 42 hours, I felt like I knew Trey since a long time ago. During my whole life, I've been wanting to motivate my brother to be better, to practice sports, to live healthy. And thanks to running, I have been able to do it. Now, the David Goggins, I love the fact that he was so secure, that he never saw him hesitant, that even though later he told me he suffered and he was had some hardship at the end, I never saw that. He never reflected, and I felt proud of seeing him confronting the challenge. As of my end, it was fun. Yes, it was physically challenging, but I was having a good nutrition, having electrolytes, and keeping myself avoiding the deficiencies, right, as much as possible. I was always giving massage to my legs. And then we even had a chess tournament in between the David Goggins. Definitely do it with people, and the people that did it help make it a great experience. And now that we were talking about it, we are looking into doing that challenge again during the fall. We have not set up the time, but we're looking for people that are interested on taking on the challenge. Now, not everybody has 42 hours to do it, right? But if somebody is brave enough, I would like to use your platform and you take this venue to open it up. Even I would love to see you there. I hope you're up for the challenge. And but yeah, it was a great experience. I loved it. I'm willing to do it again. But it was that great because of the people that did it.
I probably won't do it just because I struggle with the shin splints. But I'm getting better at it, to be honest with you. Every day at the gym before I leave, I hit the treadmill or I hit the stairmasters, and so that's been helping a lot. At least stretching it and stuff. That is crazy though, that you're going to be doing it again. Man, props to you. Much respect to that. How did that change your mindset? How did that develop you?
How did it change my mindset? Um, it helped. I mean, my just to open up and be considerate of others, because I did suffer, but not as much as the other participants, and then still they were giving their best. They showed their best attitude. They were not complaining, but because they were not expressing their pain or what they're going through, I did not realize, and I was blind to it until the very end. So it helped me to realize that people sometimes, especially men, and this opens up to another invitation. Um, we keep the stuffs to ourselves. We do not open up, or we don't want to be seen as being weak or being vulnerable. And during the experience, a couple of them were suffering, but they never said anything, and I did not notice. But now I need to be more attentive to those details and be more compassionate, or put myself in their shoes, right? And don't expect them to come and tell me, but be there and read those signs. So that's what I learned from that experience in that aspect. But with that being said, with Live Athletics in the past 2 years, we have done the Thanksgiving turkey trot at our club. And we did it as to collect funds for my good friend Ulises Rodriguez, who passed away a few months ago because he was fighting cancer. He was fighting cancer. He was very young, and he was fighting testicular cancer. And many times we hear breast cancer awareness, wear pink. But we as men, we do not talk about our problems, and hardly ever we find out of people fighting testicular cancer. Sadly, Ulises lost the fight. Well, he won the fight because he's no longer suffering, and now he's in a better place. I was wondering, like, why Ulises came to me where I was at the nutritional club, but he was always so happy. I never imagined when he came, he was already going through the whole process. I would never imagine he was going through that if it's not because he was about to celebrate his 21st birthday. And I was like, hey, shots on me, Ulises. I'm going to take you. Then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I cannot drink. How come? Why not? I mean, it's 21st birthday. You're of age. Let's go ahead and do it. And then he just raises his arm, and you can see a little hoist or device where he was going through already a chemo and stuff like that. I was surprised. I was shocked because he was so happy. He was going through that. I cannot picture myself going through that and live as happy as he was going through it, you know? Therefore, we decided to help him. Now, because for Ulises, his legacy, I feel and I see it as I need to create awareness for that problem. And probably we cannot cure the cancer. Of course, we don't have the power, but we want to be there for that person. So, and also create awareness. It's a reality. And a lot of men do not talk about it. So now we will continue with the race that we did for Ulises. It's still going to be Ulises Rodriguez turkey trot, but now we're going to support another person. And that is the power of community that has come with Live Athletics. And we want to be of use. We want to be of service for the community. Besides, for those that come to us looking for fitness and nutrition, but also for those that are looking to challenge themselves to a triathlon, or those that are going through some hard times, especially as I said, like he was with Ulysses. That is my goal. And you mentioned at the beginning a strong word, but I wanna build a legacy here in El Paso with Live Athletics, of a community for the community, and help El Paso, hopefully eventually Las Cruces and Juarez.
I can't stress this enough, Julio, and I really appreciate what you're doing in the community, because live athletics is more than just going out there and doing a run. It's a community of people who care about, and you painted a very good picture with it, with Ulises' story and mental health. Is you're an advocate for that. You're somebody who truly cares about an individual, somebody who truly is there to support somebody through more than just what it is that you do. You find different avenues of how you can do it. For example, fundraisers and like that. Something I've always appreciated of seeing that you take a part of in the community. Why do you think that is, though? And I really want to talk about this subject, is the mental health, and especially men being able to share their emotions. What do you think is the hurdle with that? Why do you think that men think that they can't share their emotions, or that they need to hide them? And have you ever experienced something like that yourself, where you had to hide something, a feeling or an emotion?
Well, once again, it connects up to culture, the way we are raised, the way the system has educate us and make us believe that as a man, you're the strong figure, and men don't cry. And so I would say that is where it comes from. Time for me. That's a great question. And at the moment, I cannot think of something like precisely to tell you. But more than anything, I once again, it comes with our culture, and culture, it's hard to change, but with education, with nowadays, like having the tools, it's gonna be easier to provide more knowledge to everybody. Once the whole group gets into the same mentality, then we can move forward. So create awareness for now about allowing men to share their feelings, and as long as we are respectful with one another, help and share your feelings, like that. That is what I believe.
Money aside, what does success mean to you? And I like how you always mention the legacy part of it. So what is your legacy that you want to leave behind? What does the term success mean to you?
Success for me is building the community of Live Athletics, touching as much people as possible, touching as many hearts as possible, and knowing that after that, if we are not here, Live Athletics continues, or the education of people continue to take care of themselves in a healthy way, and knowing that it was Live Athletics who make them starting a new habit, maybe trying something new. The legacy success for me looks like that, having that community that has helped as many El Pasoans as possible, but not only like as a quick fix, something sustainable, something that keeps on growing. Success for me will be, and I can tell you like my vision. I have visited different cities, like bigger cities, and they have like trails where people can safely practice sports. And sadly, here in El Paso, we still either we don't prioritize that type of projects, or we don't have the people that are interested in using them. So one of my goals that I would like to leave as legacy is to help promote, either create the revenue, or to provide those spaces for the El Pasoans, the El Pasoans that right now, and the people that comes afterwards, right? Success for me looks like it's hard to practice triathlon in El Paso. We don't have bodies of water. Yes, we do have pools, but maybe help provide, create awareness with people in power, people in position that can help make that a reality for El Paso. Success for me will be to be able to help first generation individuals that want to provide better for their families coming from Mexico or other countries. And we truly believe in education, and that's one of Liv Athletics' goals, eventually to be able to provide a scholarship for individuals like us that came and that are practicing sports, that are first generation. That's how success will look like at this moment. Eventually, as we grow, eventually as more challenges come and our mind grows and expands, there's gonna be a different definition of success. As in for right now, touch as many hearts and invite the community of El Paso to experience different sports. And I really want my family to get involved, especially my parents, just to be more active. That will be success.
There's a couple more topics and questions that I want to ask you. I'm going to try to get through these. I think they're really important to talk about. But one that you just mentioned right now, as you finished that sentence, was getting your parents more involved in what you do in the fitness. There's two different sides to this question. One is, were your parents very supportive of what you do now or what you were trying to build? And anybody who's trying to get into fitness, and specifically more business owners, entrepreneurs, and I kind of saw this from the conference that we went to this last week, was that speaker who was saying, do less, right? And the way that he put it and things like that, right, for business owners. What did you see with your parents supporting you is the first question. And the second question is, what would you tell business owners or entrepreneurs who live a very busy life on how to get active?
Alrighty. Yes, 100%. I grew up, I did not lack anything. I had love, I have shelter, like my basic needs were always met. Growing up, I played soccer. My mother always took me. They were always supportive. They guided me. They showed me that education is important. And they never limit me. They never stop me. On the contrary, they will push me if I have a wild idea. Like just when I was in college, and I was on my early 20s, with a group of friends, I wanted to move to San Antonio and go to college. In that aspect, my mom, of course, didn't want me to go, didn't want me to stay away from her, and especially being that young. And I didn't know how to cook, I didn't know how to iron, but still, they were like, you know what, that's good for him. And they let me go, they support me. Whenever I was over there and I had some struggles, guess what? Mijo, ahí le va dinero, supporting monetarily. But 100%, without the support of my parents, I would never be the person that I am, because it's the pillar of who I am. If it's like having a safety net. My parents have always been my safety net, either with money, financials, or about my emotions. Safety net for anything. Just knowing that they're there, he has provided me to take the courage or the risk or to go above and beyond secure, because if something happens, I know I have a backup. I know they're back there. And so yes, support always. And I encourage anybody that has kids to do the same, because I truly believe that's the way to go. But I mean, that's what happened with me. That's what I can recommend on my experience. The other question, what would I tell business entrepreneurs and people that are, what can I tell you? First is health. Well, God and health is very important. Without health, you might be working crazy hours. You might be pushing this project. You might be focusing on your sales, working on your salesperson and pouring into your business. But if you don't pour into yourself, either you become sick or, God forbid, if you're sick, you will not do you will not be as effective in your business, because all your focus is going to be on being healthy. Therefore, you need to find a space, because you don't need a lot of time. You just need 15 to 30 minutes of physical activity, something that get the blood flowing. And you need to prioritize health and physical fitness, because incorporate it in your day, like brushing your teeth, like taking a shower, 15 to 30 minutes at least. All you need is just a blood flow. Connections that happen in your brain when you're active, it's priceless. It's priceless. And everything works better. Everything functions better. It's like a well-oiled machine. Therefore, it's a priority. And anybody, not just business owners, absolutely anybody, doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're a fast food restaurant, you also need to have energy. You also need to have a good cognition, and exercise is for everybody. There's 24 hours in a week. There's plenty of time. Even though if you go to school and if you're running a business, there's plenty of time. You just need to prioritize, because the reality right now, there's a lot of devices, a lot of things that can get your attention, and you don't notice. Like, you just scrolling, you can let the time pass, and on those 20 minutes that you were scrolling, you could have done push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and that already on itself is a workout. So prioritize your health. Prioritize and find those 15, 10 minutes. If you placed that sport back then, looking to plug in into teams, looking to plug in into activities. Let's take advantage of the mountains. There are cities like in San Antonio, yes, they have beautiful trails, but they do not have mountains. Here in El Paso, we have mountains. There's stuff to do, more than drinking, right? Because there's always parties and stuff. But we need to take advantage of the mountains. And it's fun just to go on a hike. And also if you can go on a bike, even better. But yes, prioritize health, everybody, not only business owners. And you're talking about the event, the moment event. It was wonderful. It was great. I really enjoy Andy Elliott, as you mentioned. Daniel Burke Agüero. He do less. You don't need to do 3 hours of working out. Like, you need to focus on what your goal is, and minimize your time. You don't need to dedicate 3 hours at the gym. 15 to 20 minutes is more than enough. You can delegate, because that way you're also pushing people to grow and to find value, to add value into your business and making their own. There was a lot of great speakers. Daniel Gomez, I really enjoy him. It was a great event, and honestly, thank you to Ruben and his team for putting it together. It's great that we have it here in El Paso. Looking forward for the next year. Hopefully it's before the next year, right? If it's possible. But people that are entrepreneurs, look into it. Something that it was mentioned a lot is to always, and I think it was in the Millionaire panel that they mentioned, always looking to pour into yourself, nourish yourself. And it's a reality. If we don't pour into ourselves, if we don't keep on growing, what are we leading? What are we going to teach the people that is coming to us? The law is called the law of the lit. So we need to keep on growing, so our team keeps on growing. Great event. How did you enjoy it?
I think it was a really, really awesome event. I think I connected very well with Daniel Gomez. It was crazy. I gave this guy a ride to his car, and from that car ride, I mean, from the elevator down to the ride to his car, I mean, he's already helped me so much. I built a very personal connection with him just by doing that. So this conference was something that was very awesome, really. I mean, it opened up a lot of perspective. And I think Andy Elliott really said it best was, what good is it to be the best at sales? What good is it to be the best at your business if you don't keep your own body healthy? And, and I like how he mixes both. He mixes the fitness with business, and, he prioritizes fitness a lot more because that's what's going to keep you alive and healthy. And if you're not alive and healthy, then what good is it to run a business, you know? So I think that that conference was something really amazing. A lot of great speakers, a lot of good connections, a lot of people that from that event we're going to be able to have on this podcast, and it's going to be really, really cool. The last two questions.
And if I may add, from these, just to wrap it up about this great event, I noticed several speakers, not only, yes, Andy Elliott mentioned family also, and he also mentioned religion. Like he was really close to his religion. Daniel Gomez also really, really close to his religion, and practice spirituality more than anything. And another speaker, like several of them, it was like 4 that also mentioned like spirituality is big. So they're operating at very high level, and that is something that I noticed and that I am lacking at this moment. So I will be working towards that.
I love that. I really do. I love that. To end off the podcast, I want to ask you, what is something that you know now, Julio, that you wish you would have known when you first started your first business or venture, or when you were younger that you could have told yourself? What would that one thing be?
Don't worry too much. Enjoy the ride. Because in everything that I have done, like I have tried my best. And yes, we can make plans, and yes, we can like have something that we think is gonna happen. But life is gonna take you to different directions. As long as you stay positive, as long as you keep on trying your best, always do your best. So therefore, there is no regrets. Everything will land where it has to land, and always keep on developing, growing, learning, and attitude is key. So that's what I didn't notice when it was happening, but now that I look back and look at the setbacks and stuff that I have experienced, the way things have happened in my life, it's something that I now understand, and that helps me feel secure and with high hopes towards a better and brighter future. Right now, it's great, but it's going to be awesome. So that's that.
That's great feedback, and I love to hear the answers to these questions, because I'm kind of living in that moment a little bit. I'm kind of transitioning to seeing, like, I'm building something at a young age. I'm trying to see where it's going to be headed, things like that, right? So I love asking this question. I've asked this a lot at the conference too. Like, any business owner that I met, I would approach them with, instead of like, hey, what do you do? I would approach them with like, hey, can I ask you a quick question? Then I would ask them this question. And a lot of them are very similar to saying that, you know, they had the time, never really rush into it, and make sure that you build it right first before you always just mess up everything, you know, type of thing. Julio, the last question, the question that was left for you, and from our previous guest, not knowing who the next guest was going to be, the question that they left for you was, and I like this question because it really resonates with what you've talked about, is if you were to work for free for the next 10 years to leave something behind, whether it's a mark in your city, a mark in your country, or a mark in your family, or even leave a legacy, what would that be?
Live Athletics. Everything that we do with Live Athletics, guiding our community towards a healthier, active lifestyle, and plug in, taking on challenges. Definitely everything that Live Athletics entails. Create a community, help the community, provide value for the community, and help people live active. Because I have always practiced sports, and it's something that I enjoy, and I enjoy doing it with people that want to better themselves. So that's what I would do, and that's what I'm going to do. Keep on growing, learning, so I can provide more for the Live Athletics community and overall to El Paso community.